Yo, welcome back to Trash Man MMA. It's yours truly, the Trash Man, and I'm bringing you every fight to make after UFC 319, man. You see the screen, we're gonna go over a whole bunch of fights to make. Not really, actually, this is probably one of my shorter videos of fights to make. But look, I'm going over mainly all the winners, some losers. Bro, I'm not matching fucking Tim Elliott, bro. I don't care. I'm not matching fucking Aaron Pico, okay? Diana Barboza, Edson bro. If you're looking for a Drakkar close matchup, bro, hey, go somewhere else, dude. That ain't here. That ain't here, and I promise you that ain't here. So we're gonna go over mainly the winners of the main card. I think one or two fighters from the prelims. Actually think only one fighter from the prelims, but every high level profiled fight to make after UFC 319. Man, let's get into it. Khamzat Chimaev, the new champion of the middleweight division, beat Dricus du Plessis in a fairly dominant grappling performance. Maybe not grappling, but in a fairly dominant wrestling performance. Had 22 minutes of control time. Just south of that, actually, it was 21 minutes and 40 seconds, but either way, nobody's counting fucking that, right? Extremely dominant performance. He hasn't really cleared out the division, and as I mentioned in my previous video, I don't think he has many matchups left to go. So, who else to? He's probably gonna fight next year, sometime next year, probably around this same time. So who would sit out that long for a fight like that? I have two guys in mind. The same two guys who are in a number one contendership fight next month. Nasruddin Imavov versus Kyle Boralho. Now everybody and their moms, dude. Lucas Tracy, Bedtime, what's that? Kenny and Che, bro. All these guys seem to simply be forgetting from their small pea head mind that this fight is happening next month. They just completely ignore the fact that September, whenever this fight's taking place, probably September 13th, that this fight just isn't happening. And it's infuriating that I actually have to look at Lucas Tracy in Bedtime matchmake Chimaev versus Hernandez. That made me want to punch a fucking hole through my screen. Do you understand how furious I am having to just even watch a video with that stupid of a take? Are you dumb? Oh yeah, I think Khamzat Chimaev should fight the number 9th ranked contender. You fucking tard. I'll grab you by the scruff of your neck, yeah? Fucking box your fucking nose off, yeah? I just did a slapping motion with my hand when I said box. That is a delusional take. Khamzat Chimaev versus the number one contender, which I think most likely might be Nasruddin, but it'll probably be better if it is Kyle Boralho, as he would have 10 times more hype than a Nasruddin Imavov. And Kyle Boralho himself likes to take time off. The last time he fought was in August. Was it in August? I believe it was in August. He fought Jared Cannonier. He knocked him out. Technically. No, he didn't knock him out. Did he knock him out? No, he didn't. Almost did. But I believe that he fought Jared Cannonier sometime in August last month. He sat out for a whole year waiting for this fight. So that tells me that he would wait a whole nother year to fight Chimaev, which he probably might have to if he wins. I don't know if he wins though. I think Nasruddin Imavov is a tough test, but with all the success that the fighting nerds are having as of recently, excuse me, it's hard to believe that they're not going to cook up a masterful game plan for a Nasruddin Imavov who we have seen been beat before, by people taking it on short notice, like a Sean Strickland, getting scrappy with guys like Joaquin Buckley. It's just, It's an iffy number one contendership fight, bro. I'm kind of leading 60-40 in Mavov right now, but I still need to do a whole lot of film study for this fight to really see who I think would win. But this should be Khamzat Chimaev's next fight. No RDR, no Duplessis rematch, no Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. Shut up with that god awful take, you retards. The number one contender should fight for the fucking champion unless your name is Mavzar Evloev. Which we'll get into that later. Chimaev versus Nasruddin Mavov versus Kyle Barajo. Make it sometime in 2026, probably in August or whenever they go to the, Chimaev's neck of the woods. This is the only fight that should be made and had for Khamzat Chimaev. So on to the next, on to the loser of the main event. DDP, Dricus Duplessis. Dricus Duplessis came up short, got controlled for 22 minutes, as I just said. Got held to 9 significant strikes throughout 25 minutes. Had a face crank attempt in the final 30 seconds of the 5th round. Pulled guillotine multiple times in the 1st and 5th. Got just crucifixed in every single round. Got 10-8'd in the 1st and 3rd. Embarrassing performance from DDP. So you don't want to give him such a high level grappler to the level of Khamzat Chimaev, but then again, that'd be a pretty hard fighter to come across in the first place, as I don't think there's any fighter who is as dominant in the grappling as Khamzat Chimaev. So give him the next best thing, and in my opinion, the next best thing, would that make sense ranking wise? Mind you, we're not giving him number 9 fucking Fluffy Hernandez, okay? I'll tell you that much. We're giving him number 5 RDR. Rainer de Ritter just beat Robert Whittaker in a 5-round split decision not too long ago. I think RDR deserves a high-level profile matchup. Sean Strickland is out. Israel Adesanya isn't going to take this fight. I forget who else is in the top 10 or top 5. I think that's it. It's just those guys. It's Nasruddin, it's Sean Strickland, it's Izzy, and it was Khamzat, but now it'll be DDP. And yeah, RDR. Izzy's sitting out. He's not going to take that fight. Sean Strickland's banned from competing. Dricus Duplessis, this is the only fight to make, and I feel like it's a very good bounce back fight for him. Everybody knows there's gonna be fucking, Looney Tunes sound effects going on this whole time. Dust stuff, balls of smoke going up in the air, Fucking RDR will probably bring out a fucking chair at some point from his back pocket, slap it over DDP's head. DDP blows on his thumb, fucking makes his hand 10 times better, bigger, fucking Popeye style. Maybe he even brings a fucking can of spinach out. I don't know. Shit might go crazy in this fight. DDP though versus RDR. This is really one of the best fights to make. I see people matching DDP up with Hernandez. I don't think Hernandez, number 9 in the world after beating Dolidze, deserves a former champion, in my humble opinion. I think Hernandez deserves you could give him a Robert Whittaker if you want, You give him a Rob. You could give him a something. I don't know. Fuck Fluffy, To be honest, I don't really think he's all that good in the first place. And I'm standing by that take. I don't think Anthony Hernandez is all that good. This is a better fight to make, in my opinion. It's fun. It's Goofy Goober versus Goofier Goober. Who's gonna win this? Nobody knows. Great fight though. Great matchup. I got Duplessis for the win on this fight too. So on to the next. Lerone Murphy, man, training at the humble age of 22 years old, getting the biggest win of his career by far. Which is kind of funny how that works. An unranked no-name gets his first chance in a co-main event, takes this fight on 3 weeks notice, puts everything on the line, his entire win streak, his entire undefeated presence, puts it all on the line to take on it was like 15-4 Aaron Pico, debuting newcomer, and he gets it done. He gets it done by round 1, spinning elbow KO, flatlines Aaron Pico, sends him back to Bellator, shows everybody that UFC is the best organization in the fucking world. Lerone Murphy gets it done. He replaced Movsar Evloev's spot. It was supposed to be Movsar Evloev versus Aaron Pico. This is how you do it, Movsar. When you take on a debuting newcomer, you don't nearly get submitted 3 times in the first round, Movsar, like you did against Diego Lopez. You don't go to a scrap with them, Movsar. You don't take them 15 minutes, Movsar. You don't fail fucking submission attempts, Movsar. You don't get your knee nearly torn off, Movsar. No. You brutally flatline KO them like Murphy did. You brutally put them to sleep and show everybody why you are a top contender. You don't make it scrappy. You don't give the UFC a new fan favorite. No, you put them away immediately like Lerone Murphy did. After going through some fire a little bit, he did get pressured heavy, pressured hard. Kind of wilted to some body shots here and there. But it's all good. We get it done. The champ himself said, see you in December. So we're fucking running that shit. Lerone Murphy versus the champ, Alexander the Great Volkanovski. My, oh my, is this the... You know how Lerone Murphy, after getting that KO, he ran up on the fence. He started doing that money shooting, that money spread shit. Yeah, that's how I'm feeling right now, bro. This is free legacy for Volk all day long, dude. You can't find an older contender than Lerone Murphy. Lerone Murphy himself's like 35. Volkanovski's 36. You know what I'm saying? We're wiping the floor with this dude, man. We're actually Aaron Pico maxing, except we're not going to get spinning elbowed KO'd. We're going to dunk this kid on his fucking head, just like Bilal did to a fucking Leon Edwards, dude. We're slapping this. We're boxing the fucking nose off this kid, yeah? We're fucking taking this kid to school, yeah? We're fucking this kid up. We are beating Lerone Murphy. We are coming back in December. We are going to get a second title defense in our second run. We are going to go down as the greatest fighter of all time. Volkanovski versus Lerone Murphy in December. Headlining or co-main event, doesn't matter. Make it whatever you want to be. But December, I'll see you in the cage, Murphy. But this fight is there's nothing else to make. A lot of people are saying make Lerone Murphy versus Movsar Evloev. Movsar Evloev is injured, or at least that's what's to be assumed. He pulled out of his fight with Aaron Pico for undisclosed reasons. I don't think you should make a Murphy versus Evloev matchup. That just has Volkanovski sitting out for way too long. He said he wanted 2 more fights by the end of this year. He was never going to be able to get that 2 more fights. He could have if his career was managed properly, but as we know from past events, he doesn't have the best management team. So he's going to have to resort to 1 fight. I don't think we should have Volkanovski fighting once a year. If he wants to fight 3 times a year, we should at least have him fight twice. So don't ruin a Murphy versus Volkanovski card with the, oh, but first we have to make sure Murphy versus Evloev goes through. No, bro. I mean, Evloev is great, and I do think Evloev deserved the title shot before Murphy, but he pulled out. Murphy stepped in on short notice, took Evloev's spot. It should have never been a question in the first place, but sadly the UFC had to make it happen. And it happened, and Murphy came out on top. He's now matched 9-0 wins with Movsar Evloev, and he has 3 more finishes in the UFC than Evloev. This is the fight to make. Murphy versus Volkanovski. I think you can do a Evloev versus a Diego Lopez part 2, or a Evloev versus the winner of Diego Lopez Gene Silva. I feel like that's probably the fight to make. Honestly, you can make, so this September 13th, it's going to be Diego Lopez versus Gene Silva. You can get the winner of that card, put them up against Movsar Evloev in December on this same card as Murphy versus Volkanovski to solidify the winner of this fight. Say Gene Silva wins, you can put Movsar versus Gene Silva on this same card to absolutely solidify the next contender. And I think that's perfect, similar to Volkanovski when he faced Islam, and Yair versus Josh Emmett was on that card. Similar to something like that. That the next contender is solidified. There will be no question about it. Volkanovski has his next opponent in sight. So Murphy versus Volkanovski, and Evloev versus the winner of Diego versus Silva. I think that's perfect. I think that's picture perfect, honestly. So I think that's what we should do. On to the next fighter. We're matchmaking. Carlos Prates, CP. Me and all my homies love watching CP, man. Can't get enough of this CP, man. CP had an amazing win over Jeff Neal, spinning elbow KO after a fucking scrap in the first 2 minutes. Then Prates picked it up and started kind of doing his thing, felt the power of Jeff Neal, and he's like, I can take that shit. So he started putting hands on that boy low key. Hold on, my burp. Damn, sorry for being so fucking, I just downed a beer before this, not gonna lie. So we could do Prates versus Gilbert. Your time has come, Burns. Your time has come. There's no running from this one. Dude, I feel so bad for matchmaking this, dude. But it's going to be in Brazil. What other way to entice Gilbert Burns into a matchup against Carlos Prates in Brazil? Dana White, I guess, allegedly said that Prates 100% has that co-main event spot in Brazil. So all that's next is to find an opponent. Like I said, who else a better opponent to bring in than another Brazilian to entice them, which is Gilbert Burns. Now, do I think Gilbert Burns takes this fight? No. Do I think that this is the fight that should happen? No. Do I think this is the fight that they most likely might make? Probably. But I don't. It is going to be a little bit tricky being in Brazil and having two Brazilians go up against each other. So I kind of am iffy about this matchmaking a little bit, but I think it is not the most likely, but I just think it's something there. You know, like, yes, you could, honestly, there's a whole bunch of fights that you can make in the welterweight division. There's Joaquin Buckley, there's a Colby Covington in Brazil. That would be amazing. But these are just a whole bunch of fights. There's a Michael Morales there, which we'll get into him later. I just don't think that a lot of those fights really fit. I don't know if they're really looking for Gilbert Burns to get highlight KO'd again, though, but I think they might. He just got KO'd in May, I believe it was, to Michael Morales. And I don't know if they're feeling like sacrificing a Brazilian for another Brazilian, kind of something that, those Brazilians would do, those dogs. I think it's something that they would do, and I think it's a very real possible matchup. I favor Carlos Prates. I'm sure everybody will. Gilbert Burns has a chance with the grappling, but I just think anytime Gilbert Burns will go up against a heavy hitter, just like Gerald Mearshart, he has a chance to take him to the ground, but every fight starts on the feet, and I think Carlos Prates can KO him pretty quickly on the feet, with Gilbert Burns' chin being fucking bowl of mashed potatoes right now. So this can go down. Just one of the many options that can take place in the co-main event of that Sao Paulo card. On to the next though. Skip MVP. What is this? MVP. MVP. He is the number 15th ranked welterweight and number 9 ranked middleweight. As coming of Tuesday, he will be. So this was a little bit hard of a match making to do. I have one welterweight pick and I have one middleweight pick. Both, in my opinion, make incredible sense. One you might be a little bit confused as of, but a very impressive win over Jared Cannonier. Kind of very extremely boring. But he got it done. He got the win, which is the most important part about fighting, is the win. So I think we should give him one of two fights, depending on how he wants to take his career. Does he want to go to welterweight and kind of deal with this iffy matchmaking like Hugh said he was dealing with before this fight. He said that there weren't a lot of fights at welterweight, not a lot of people were accepting, so he took something at middleweight in the meantime just to get his hands dirty. So at welterweight, I think we should give him another undefeated prospect, which is Michael Morales. And honestly, both these guys are, well, Barajo's almost undefeated. Undefeated in the UFC though. Two undefeated prospects, one being Michael Morales, number 7 at welterweight, and the other being a Kyle Barajo at number 6, only 3 spots away from MVP's what would be 9 or 10 once Tuesday comes. I think this is great matchmaking. I don't think MVP deserves a Leon Edwards. I think I saw Bedtime make that fight, a Leon Edwards versus MVP. If you think one welterweight win over Kevin Holland gives you the one of the top 5 contenders in the world, you're slow to say the least. But a win over number 9 middleweight does get you a little bit something, does give you brownie points going back into your natural division, which is at welterweight. So it gave him a little 2 bumps up for a Michael Morales who's on a hot streak. I forgot what this guy is. Oh, he's Ecuadorian, I believe. This zesty ass dude. Good fight though for MVP. Morales is a power puncher. He's similar to Carlos Prates in a way. He's not even really very similar to Carlos Prates, if I'm really being honest. I mean, a little bit in that Muay Thai kind of sense, but I don't know about too much. But I think these are both good matchups for MVP. I think Barajo might be a little bit tougher of a fight just because of how tall he is. Morales is a tall welterweight. I'm actually double check this, but I know he's not a 6'3". I know that for sure. He's not a 6'3", which is Michael MVP's height. Yeah, he's only 6 feet tall, so he would be giving up 3 inches. Pause. Kyle Barajo is, I want to say, about 6'3". He's 6'2", so he'd actually still be an inch shorter. He'd still be an inch shorter than MVP, but I think that size would give MVP a little bit more of a problem to deal with than a Jared Cannonier presented. Jared Cannonier looked so small out there against MVP. It was actually insane to see how big MVP was out there. Not like mass-wise, but just height-wise. So I think Barajo will give him a little bit tougher of a problem. I think Morales might be not necessarily an easier matchup for MVP, but definitely not as physically imposing as a high-level middleweight like Barajo. And I'm putting Barajo here in case he loses to Imavov. I think Barajo, he is being marketed as a number 1 contender fight, but I don't see if he loses, which I think he might. Like I said, I'm leaning 60-40 in favor of Barajo. I don't think anybody in the top 5 will want to fight Barajo, and I think Barajo would have a hard time getting matchups. I think he did, and that's why he took so long getting this fight against Imavov in the first place. But MVP just beat Jared Cannonier. Barajo also coming off of the win off Jared Cannonier. And fuck it, let's put these 2 guys together if Barajo loses, if MVP doesn't go back down to welterweight. I think these are the fights that are more than likely to be made for MVP. Michael Morales doesn't have anything going on right now. He might want to be looking upwards in the ranking as well. It's kind of hard matchmaking MVP in the welterweight division right now because I can't see any welterweights seeing him as a worthy contender, seeing his only win in the division is a Kevin Holland. And, well, he's, 4 fights in the UFC, and half of them have been at, damn near all of his wins have been at middleweight besides the Kevin Holland win. But I think this is what should be made. On to the next, though. We spent too much time on MVP. On to the next. Jared Cannonier, the loser. Hold on. I'm going to need to burp again. Jared Cannonier took a 29-28 L to MVP last night. Not the worst loss of all time, but not the best performance of all time. He had a lot of trouble. I actually completely forgot. Oh, I remember who I matched him against. I think we should match him against another guy who's kind of older in the division. Another old head. Another guy coming off of a loss. Fresh off of a loss, actually. and that is a Roman Dolidze. I think Jared Cannonier is going to get bumped down to number 10. So I think a Roman Dolidze, number 10 and number 11, this would be a perfect fucking Apex Fight Night main event, dude. This has Apex Fight Night main event written all over it, bro. All over it. I could just see these dudes walking out in front of 20, 30 people, just fucking, with their music in the background and them acting all hard. I could just see this. This is picture perfect. This is textbook Apex main event right here, dude. I think it makes sense as well. Jared Cannonier losing the last 3 out of his 4 fights. Roma Dolidze, his most impressive wins are Kevin Holland. Who is it? It's Kevin Holland and Anthony Smith. There's somebody else in there. Who the fuck? Oh, Marvin Vettori, yeah? Yeah, Marvin Vettori, Kevin Holland, and Anthony Smith. Not the most impressive 3 fight names of all time. So I think Roman Dolidze. I think this is a good fight. It's neither a crazy jump up it's not a crazy jump up or jump down for either of these guys. I think this is perfectly approachable. Perfect Apex main event card. I think it makes sense. I don't think Hernandez is number like 10 himself. Like, why would we give him a Jared Cannonier who's coming off of a loss? Actually, wait, where is Fluffy? I actually think he's a little bit higher in the rankings. I think he's actually number 7. Let's see. Yeah, he's a number 7. So I don't think Anthony Hernandez deserves to jump back down to fight a Jared Cannonier. I also don't think he deserves a former champion DDP though either. So I think this is approachable. It should happen. Make it happen. Let's get it done. On to the next fight. Yeah. Wow, that was a jump off. I think this is the last fight that I match made, actually. Alexander Hernandez. Got a win over Chase Hooper. Impressive win. He knocked them out in the final seconds of the first round. You could make the argument maybe they should have let it go for the final 1-2 seconds, but if you're not going to say that for Jeff Neal, don't say that for this fight either. Anthony Hernandez knocks out Chase Hooper in the first round. I think Anthony Hernandez is on a 3-fight win streak against kind of shit comp. Who else is in the lightweight division on a 3-fight winning streak against shit competition? Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson, the Unk. I match made Michael Johnson versus I think I match made him up against it wasn't Bobby Green, but it was Jim Miller who I matched him up against. But Jim Miller's coming off of a loss, I believe. Both guys on a 3-fight hot streak. And fuck it, dude. Whoever wins this can be looking at a 15th, 14th, kind of guy. One of these guys can be used as like fodder for a winner of a Rufy versus Benoit Saint-Denis, winner of that fight. Hey, they got to fight for the ranking one more time. Give them this little cannon fodder, one of these guys, and send the winner of whoever that matchup may be up the rankings. But this is a perfect matchmaking in my opinion. If you want me to give you some names off the top of my head, you can. Here, let's go to the event to matchmake some more fights that I just didn't want to edit into an actual video. Hold on, man. Just bear with me. Hold on, man. You can do a Tim Elliott versus I saw some people saying Steve Erceg. I guess you can do a Steve Erceg. You can do Hyung Sung Park, or I think you could do a Hyung Sung Park for Kaya Sakura. One of these fighters, probably a Hyung Sung Park for Asakura. For Tim Elliott, let's see here. Who can you do for Tim Elliott? He's number 11 in the division. He just beat number 15. You can do a Tagir Ulianbekov maybe an Alex Perez of choice. Maybe an Alex Perez. Alex Perez, another old head. just pulled out of his fight against Steve Erceg, so Tim Elliott isn't the most active B himself. So I think Alex Perez versus Tim Elliott is a fine matchup. On to the next. We can do Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. He called out Marvin Vettori. Go ahead, make that matchup. Jared Mearshart, you can do him against Baisan Gur. Jessica Andrade, she lost. Lupe Godinez, you can do her against Alexa Grasso. They might be teammates. Or you can do her versus... Wait, this is strawweight. My bad, never mind. I don't know who you could do her against. Chase Hooper, Terrence McKinney. Give him Terrence McKinney. Edson Barboza, retired. Joe Close, nobody gives a fuck about you. Joseph Morales, nobody gives a fuck about you either. So those are all fights that I have to make. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all to the new subscribers. I see my videos getting a little bit more traction than they usually do. So I thank you all for that that support and appreciation. As always, I'm the Trash Man, yours truly. Thank you for watching. Leave a like, leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought about this matchmaking. Share it with your homeboys, share it with your friends, do all that. Thank y'all for the love, man. Subscribe if you're new, and appreciate you if you made it all the way through. Follow my Instagram, follow my Twitter. Show love, man. Show love to the posts, to the community posts, to the reels I be posting. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. And we'll make a video. I'll come up with an idea of a video to make tomorrow or Tuesday. My prediction video will probably come out Wednesday. I'll try my best to get it out by Wednesday. I'm doing a bad job. I usually post my prediction videos the day before, damn near the night before, and they hardly get any traction. So I'll try to get those videos out to y'all sooner, by Wednesday the latest. Thank y'all once again. Appreciate y'all. And I'll catch y'all tomorrow or Tuesday. See ya.